Holy shit!
Oh my God! Look at that!
What do you think of when you think of the panel truck?
Good question. I gotta work on it. That's what I always thought for the last 20 years.
So when did you get the panel truck?
I got it in probably in 1972 or so. 3 kids came in the shop, my shop I had in Milwaukee, and kid comes in, he says, I've got a 32 Ford panel delivery that I want to sell, or I got to get rid of it. My folks said we got to get it out of the yard. Came by about a week later with the side of the panel on his roof of his car. And I went out and I looked at it and I thought, damn, that is a 32 Ford. He said, would you give me $5? $5. Yeah. So I gave him $5. I should have gave him a 20. I feel bad. 3 kids had it. They found it in a junkyard up north someplace. And each kid had parts of it. I went and got it with my trailer. As a matter of fact, I pulled it back with my 34 Ford and then on a trailer, so that was kind of cool.
His original intention was to put it on the roof of his shop and make a sign out of it because he thought it was just kind of useless as a car. So he got all the pieces, started putting them together, and then it wasn't as bad as he thought. So he took a '64 Chevy and he took all the driveline out and put it in there and made it run, and it was kind of a beater. We put thousands of miles on it, driving it to local shows. The speedometer has like 10,000 miles on it. It was new when he put it in. So it's been a big part of my life. When I was living in Austin, I came and got it, and my plan was to kind of build it, get it back on the road for him, and bring it back and give it to him.
My son Bobby calls me from Texas. He says, Dad, I really would like to get the panel down here. It wasn't more than a week and Bobby's up here to get it. He says, he's got a trailer, he's ready to go.
When I came and got it, I decided that I liked it here better than Austin. So I just moved home. So anyway, this thing is kind of the whole reason I came home. So I started collecting parts for this thing, and the chassis was really bad. It had been rusted in half and had stuff cut out and re-welded in, and it wasn't safe at all. So I got a new chassis for it, put in a different front end. My intention with it is to just enjoy it, but to also be able to tow a trailer. I want to be able to tow my coupe or other hot rods with it. I want to tow our little camper with it. So I'm making it super streetable, kind of almost street roddy in a way, but it'll still just look like the old panel. The last 3 weeks or so, I've been just here every night, super late, working on the chassis, getting it to be a roller. We put the body on the other day and it doesn't fit very well, so we got all these issues to solve. A few weeks back, I was inspired and I was like, hey Piero, you should come and we'll drive the panel to the Race of Gentlemen. And it was kind of a pipe dream in a way. I was just like, well, that's really not gonna happen. And then obviously he's like, yeah, let's do it. So then I started all these sleepless nights of trying to get this thing together and working on it, and I got the new frame rolling, and he just showed up and we have to leave in 4 days. We also have a pretty cool sponsorship, which I wasn't expecting at all, and Stromberg Carburetor heard that we were going to make this trip, so they donated some of their new big 97s to kind of show how roadworthy they can be with little effort. So we're gonna put those on and go too. So those carburetors are way nicer than this panel truck. So at least it'll have something good. So there's a million things that have to get done. The sheet metal has to go on. We're putting the new carbs in. There's a giant hole in the firewall that I need to fill. We have to hook up the shifter. We have to do floors. We have to wire the entire thing. But one of the big things we don't have is steering. So we have to make a steering column out of like an old 46 Ford steering column. So I've got a pile of friends coming to help today, and I think little Chris is gonna work on that steering column, but I need to go get one out of the back. So let's go see if we can find something. So this is the backyard. We got all these parts everywhere. I think there's a woodchuck that lives under this car. But I have these steering columns. So think we'll use this one. Maybe this one. I think we'll use this one. So we're gonna bring this back into the shop. This is all pitted. Guess it's okay for the panel. But we're gonna cut this off, put a different end on it, and make it work for the panel truck. I have an idea of what I want all the guys that are gonna be here today to do. The first thing I'm gonna do is just make a list from front to back of what needs to happen in the next few days. It's a big list.
Go burnout, bro. What the fuck? Oh my fucking god. What happened? Wait, so you're saying that if I go like if I go like this?
You guys are fucking assholes. You were so excited. Where's my hot dog?
So, our good friend Clive at Stromberg Carburetor heard about our road trip in the panel truck to the Race of Gentlemen, and he thought it might be a good platform to test out the new big 97s. And so basically, they look just like a Stromberg 97. They're so awesome. It's so fun opening up that box every time. But they look exactly like a 97, but they're way bigger. So they flow, I think they're 250 CFM. So you can see this is like the stock one, and this is the big boy. Like this is a new intake that takes Stromberg 97s. So what we need to do is port this out to fit the big 97. There's like that little ledge, which basically that's what we need to get rid of. That ledge is kind of like a parachute for the air and the gas. And then we're gonna kind of hog out this center area. You could put this in a mill and mill this out really nicely and port it out and at least get the big chunks out. But we're gonna do it with a die grinder just to prove that it's something you could easily do in your garage. So another cool thing about these big 97s is they have a vacuum port higher up in the carb. So it's above the butterflies. So a lot of early distributors like that better than the intake vacuum. It looks like the old one, but it's got kind of new guts. So it's really exciting actually, because I mean, you can't tell. It could be on a total period correct car and not stand out as being new or different, but it works really, really well. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some layout fluid on here. I'm gonna line up the carb gasket and trace out what I need. And then I'm gonna just go after it with my little die grinder with my aluminum bit. used my little die grinder and I got it all the way, or I got the big stuff out. Then I went with my little belt sander and smoothed it out, and then I filed the edges, and I have a little bit left to do and I want to clean it up a little more, but for the most part it's pretty much ready to go. And you can see on the gaskets now, you know, that it's right in there. Alright, so we got the intake installed, carbs on, we've got the linkage on, which was so great, it works so nice, it's like, couldn't be better. So, with the whole setup, you get this real nice fuel rail that they make, and it's really nice. So I'm just kind of putting it together. It has these little fittings, and they're compression fittings, and it barely clears that linkage, which is cool. It's all tight. Feels good. Perfect. And then the fuel line will go in here, and I can put a gauge there if I get one eventually. I'll just plug it up for now. But man, it's like an honor to have those carbs on this thing. It's like, look at it. It doesn't deserve that, but it's so nice. It's unbelievable. Totally blown away. They're almost a 98. Maybe a 99 even. Hey Sam.
Hey Bob.
Did you bring the roadster?
I sure did.
Cool. I like that roadster.
So do I.
Let's go look at it.
All right.
This is exactly why we hate television.
Yeah.
Every day, at some point in the day, I look for old hot rods, old hot rod parts, old anything related to hot rods, anything that was actually on a hot rod from back in the day. Finding a survivor hot rod is like what you dream about every day. Like maybe we're gonna find a survivor today. A couple of years ago, I was on the internet and I was looking, and some guy found this survivor roadster. Olds powered, great proportions, really great car, and this guy in Michigan found it and had been in storage for years, like everything you dream about. And I was like, oh man, what a great car. So I followed the car a little bit. Then a couple of years ago at the Detroit Autorama, it was there, and it was said to be for sale, but it was kind of out of reach price wise. The car was completely intact, but the motor was locked up. But I mean, it was as he found it in the building, and you know, it was untouched. Several months later, I heard that it was available, and it was way cheaper than it was when it was at the Autorama. I got his number from some friends, called him, made a deal, and he was super excited. You know, I told him, I'm like, I want to get it as a whole car, make sure it's done right and preserved. and then pass it on to someone. I mean, I already have a Survivor Roadster, so it's hard to justify having two of them. So this Roadster, it was built in the late 50s, early 60s in the Chicago area, and then made its way to Michigan in the very early 70s, or Western Michigan at that point. Then it made its way close to Detroit in the 80s, and then it basically sat. Car is a 29 Roadster, heavily channeled, has an Auburn dash in it, which is amazing. It had a 57 Olds with a J2 motor, J2 3 carbs. It had a top shift Laselle, really well built and well proportioned. This thing is super comfortable for such a little car, so it was really well thought out. I'm always in a big hurry, I just wanted to drive it. So I found another motor, Olds motor. This one was a 324. It was in an old hot rod. It was a 39 Merkt sedan that it was in. So I bought that motor, put it in, redid all the brakes, cleaned up the wiring. I made new exhaust for it because the old exhaust was goofy. Got it on the road. It's amazing to drive. This car is so great. It's like, it's magical. We were building a Roadster for Sam. It was a 29 Roadster. It was low and kind of the same, like his dream car was actually, you know, actually this car. Happens to go to his neighbor for something.
He had these pictures of this Roadster that he built, and I was like, oh, that's super cool, you know? And that night I go home and I'm cruising through Instagram, and you put up the picture like, oh, just got home with the Roadster. I was like, man, that looks really close to Bob's car. So the next day I go next door and I show Bob the picture, and it must have taken him 10 seconds of looking at the picture, and he just goes, that's my car. No excitement. And I'm inside like flipping out.
So all of a sudden Sam calls and he's going crazy.
I was losing my mind, yeah.
Yeah, so this is Bob Berger's Roadster, and it's different. I mean, right away when I saw it, the rear is different, the front, you know, it had a suicide front and both front and rear.
Right.
But it had the Olds. The thing that makes it possible is the frame on that car. They I think they had to make it wider for the Olds motor or something. So there's another frame grafted on to the original frame of that car. So it's like very feasible that, because he sold this thing, I think 58 or something.
58, 59.
Yeah, he built it in 55. So between 58 and 63 when it was in that show, it's possible that someone was like, I don't like this front end, and grafted a stock one on, because it's like you can see where it's overlapped.
And the little write-up on it says he sold it unfinished too.
Yeah.
So he tells me all the time, well, I didn't even finish the car. You know, it was just running, driving, and I was having fun with it. But he was in high school at the time. Like he did a lot of stuff in shop class in high school. Like he took the heads off and milled them down in high school a little bit. They didn't have floors in their garage. It was just dirt. So he went to like a construction site and like bought a bunch of bags of concrete, and he made a floor in his garage before he started his car. Like it is pretty wild.
Basically, it's a 29 Roadster, Titan Red, that was baby blue before it was Titan Red.
Yeah,
built in Chicago in the late 50s. I mean,
within like 20 miles.
Within like 20. Yeah, so
it's like it's crazy that there's two cars that were identical for the most part. But there's enough differences that make it...
Right. Like right when I was talking to you about it, you were like, go ask him if there's any blue on the car before. And so I run back next door and I'm like, hey, what was the color of the car before you painted it? And he just looks dead in my face and was like, Robin's egg blue. And it's like, yes!
Regardless, Sam became obsessed with my car, thinking that it could be, you know, his buddy Bob Berger's car from back in the day. And he's like, when you're ready, I want a shot at it. He was basically the first person I called. So we ended up getting it on the road, driving it. I took it some places, and then I basically got the bugs out of it and passed it on to Sam. So now he's the caretaker.
Having a lot of fun. It runs great. It's got LaSalle transmission, is just butter, and yeah, it's awesome. I drive it all over the place. Probably put Probably about 1,000 miles on it this year.
But Sam's using it, and it is such a great, usable hot rod.
It is. I mean, it drives like a dream.
It's so
really does.
awesome. Anyway, I'm just really excited that he has it, and it's kind of still in the family.
Yeah.
How do you feel about now Bobby Joe getting to grow up in the back of it?
I think it's awesome. I think it's the most awesome thing that could happen. Bobby Joe being a part of this car and all the hot rods that, you know, Bobby's car, and he has such a passion already at 3. I mean, I've never seen a little kid that excited about old cars, hot rods, and if there's a different car that comes in the lot here right away, he's got to go check it out. He knows right away it's something different, and so that's exciting.
There you go.
Do you love this truck?
What is this truck?
A panel truck.
It's a panel truck? Is it a hot rod panel truck?
No.
No, it's just a panel truck? Rock and roll!
Regular.
We still have a lot of things to do, obviously. Tomorrow we should get some help. Had a lot of help from a lot of different guys. We have a million things that are almost finished. So we've got the carbs on, the whole front of the motor, the radiators on, the starters in. We had the rear end in and out a few times, adjusting some things. It's been, lots of things fighting us, but we're getting it. So tomorrow should be a huge day. It should run and drive tomorrow. And then we hit the road. Got some tires on, the roof's painted, the shifter's in, the gas pedal's in, the steering will be in first thing in the morning. Dash is in, we've got some wires run. Mainly we've got a lot of wiring to do tomorrow, and then it'll be good. There's still a big hole in the floor, but I don't know, it's happening.
Alright, so what's happening?
It turns over.
So what does that mean?
It turns over. Piero's making me say, oh, we did some stuff and now it turns over. So then the next scene is going to be, it turns over and runs. So there's no reason for this scene. This scene is a wasted scene. It's a wasted scene. It's wasting time for me to go to bed. I just want to go to bed. It's time for bed is what it is. So that's where we're at. All right, well, we got everything hooked up enough to try to fire the engine. There's still a lot of things to button up. I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot. All right. Stop. All right. Wait, it started right up though. Yeah, we know it runs. So I guess what we're gonna do is kind of take a breather, make a new list, fix some issues, and try to get it ready so next time we can run it, we can drive it. Basically, we were supposed to leave for New Jersey this morning. And the reason we're still working on it is the race of gentlemen got canceled, or it actually got postponed till next week. And I've been looking forward to it for a long time, and it's just not going to work out because of this hurricane. Switched gears, we're going to go to this show in Woodstock, Illinois called the Iron Invasion. And it's a good drive, it'll be a really good test for the truck. These new carbs are so good right out of the box that, you just bolt them on. I mean, all I did was adjust all the idle screws out 2 full turns, And so that would open up the idle circuits all the way, and it was running right away. So once we can get it warmed up and outside, and you know, we can fine tune it a little bit, but for now it's running really good. The transmission I bought from some dude in West Dallas on Craigslist, so I don't have faith in it. I love West Dallas, but most people around here don't. I'm nervous about it, so I want to make this thing run enough to make it move. Hopefully the transmission's good. We're gonna try to start it, and then I might try to drive it out here. So we'll see. It's awesome. I mean, that's no tuning. A little bit of lifter noise, but I think it's just gotta pump up. It's got a little bit of blow by too, but it's an old motor, so what do you expect? I don't know, I feel good about it. I'm just gonna try to inch it out of the garage and see what happens.
Whoa.
Lots of fumes in here.
Oh, there it goes. That bridge. I can't see. Going in reverse.
Sounds great. It really, I mean, it's definitely running rich because my eyes are burning, but we'll get it dialed in, and it's good. It sounds real throaty.
Oh man, it's exciting. Sounds really good, it's looking good. Looks very tough. And I'm happy. It's been a long time to see the old Pandana go.
It's I don't know. I mean, it's all scary and like first drive and everything, but I think it's gonna be good. We just gotta get it together so we have lights and we can take it across the street. Woo! All right. Pretty good. It's not the first one. That seems pretty fresh. Hey! Hello, America. It's been a lot of sleepless nights. Race of Gentlemen got canceled. We're about to head out to Illinois tomorrow, and we're about to take it on its first drive. Anyway, it's pretty exciting. It's running. We got it tuned a little bit. We got lights, fenders, seats. Man, just a little things to do to make it, call it like done for now. So hopefully it moves, because we drove it around the parking lot a little bit, and it seemed okay, but I don't know how it's gonna shift or anything like that. All right, so we're gonna drive it for the first time, and we'll probably go across the street and then maybe down to Quick Trip. Goes into reverse, okay. Sure, the brakes might feel okay. Tires are hitting those bolts. And here we go, on the road. side. Hey, Dad, sit on the other side. I was worried about that too. Well, we drove it around the block and it's not shifting, so we have to figure out why. But I think it's a hose, a vacuum. It needs vacuum.
This hose will give me a problem.
We'll see. We just hooked up a vacuum line to the transmission. I don't really know a lot about turbo 350s because I use sticks all the time, or you know, standard shift. So, in fact, I just got in here and tried to put the clutch in, but there's no clutch. So. Hopefully this works. I'm tired.
Let's give it a run.
I'm sick. All right. But it sure seems better. That part.
Still rubbing, huh?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, we're shifting. We're here.
Yeah. All 3 years. All right. It's doing really great. Shifting good. It steers really awesome. Stopping good. Time to go to the gas station before we run out of gas. All right, first drive. Woo! Feels real good. Exactly how I expected it to. That was something. Those Strombergs last and last and last.
Our first destination.
Yeah, it seems good.
How's your
a little
temp
blow
doing?
by. Temp's good. Oil pressure is good. Everything seems to be good.
Kick ass, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. You gotta press the button.
So that's first, right? Yeah.
It's a different truck, huh?
This is unbelievable. It's been a long time. Just the feel is, was it steer nice? My God, does it steer nice? Oh, man.
Isn't it ridiculous? It's so good.
I mean, you know, we're talking about how you want to make it, and now it's all of as good as you wanted to make it, if not better.
Yeah.
It drives great. Little Bobby can drive it. It's really good. Drive Bobby. Oh man, this thing is unbelievable. Nice, good job. What a Johnny behind us. Wow. Hero kind of driver.
So how was it?
Awesome. Really awesome. Last time was about 10 or 11 years ago, at least.
Yeah, and it wasn't really drivable then.
No, it wasn't.
It's
We
been
took
probably
the back end apart.
the last time it was driven a lot was the 80s.
Yeah. Wow. Great job. You did an excellent job. And everything feels right. The steering is excellent. The shifting is good. The motor just feels tight and solid. Never felt that way. It was always rickety.
Carbs actually are working pretty
The
good.
carbs are working excellent.
A little bit of Johnny Tune action.
You'll get to feel those carbs
Got better.
when you driving along at about 50 or 60 and tromp it down. You'll feel them kick in and back ones. And that's cool. It's like a passing gear. I don't foresee any problems here at all. Going any place.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get to work now. We got a lot left to do. We were probably 12, and my mom decorated the thing, and we put it in a parade, but she bought all this candy, and she's like, hey, you guys go in the back of the panel, and your dad's gonna drive it, and you guys throw candy at all the kids. So what we did, we took there was bubble gum. We took all the bubble gum out, and we put rocks in the bubble gum wrappers, and we so we were in the parade in Delafield, literally throwing rocks out the back, and we both have like as much gum as we could put in our mouth, you know? It was hilarious. Like, I remember these moms like going, ah! It was great.